Oh, this is actually working. So it has been quite some time since I have been on here. I apologize for that. This actually feels really good to be able to go live again. For some reason, I had some kind of technical issue where my phone would not let me. Like, I tried and tried and tried, and some kind of thing going on with their system where I couldn't get everything coordinated for whatever reason. I do not know. Um, but yeah, this is actually live. I'm like, yes, finally. I can get back to doing what I do, back to doing what I love to do. I actually just did a track cleaning, probably a few weeks ago. I did like a major track cleaning, so hopefully I don't have no issues with the track itself and connectivity. I look like I got probably a couple of spots that I need to touch up, per se. Nothing serious, nothing major, just, some stuff. Touch up. Anybody who has a layout, a decent layout that they enjoy, and has track, knows that keeping everything clean can certainly be challenging sometimes. Um, for sure, absolutely for sure. But I am definitely glad to be on here right now. Give me just a second here. Doing a quick little touch up, and we'll see what we can do about getting the audience some train visual here. So we can get into business. Get some get some freight moved. How about that? Let's see. How do we flip this thing? Should be able to flip this thing around. Aha! Success! Fan flipping tastic. No pun intended. But yeah. There we go. There we go. As you can see, I do not operate this layout fast. It is a nice and easy going layout. I moderate the speed pretty easy, pretty gentle. This layout is not necessarily huge, so it doesn't really take a whole lot to get from point A to point B. Also, a major change that I'm sure you've noticed is that is not a Union Pacific locomotive. Just kind of a quick little rundown here. As you can see, I have switched companies. I don't want to get into too much of political stuff, but as I followed my company I used to run on social media, there was just so much political garbage. Like, you got one job, run some freight, period. Move some freight. That's it. One job. You failed, clearly. So that being said, that's all I'm going to say about that. I will not make any more comments. It is my layout, and I will run it my way. Period. Um, but here we go. This is it. This is what we do. This is how I do it. Um, I just enjoy running the trains. As you can see, I have many little businesses, companies. I actually took the time when planning. Like, I have a coal tower, the coal chute for the coal. I can take that coal train to the yard, and then once it's ready, I can take it to the power plant over there. So that way everything has its place. I tried to tie in multiple businesses. For an example, just kind of give you a quick little rundown. You'll notice the very back business over there. the very back business is a grain facility, so the cars can get loaded and they will go to the yard to be sorted on a different train. Um, Once they get sorted to the different train, then I can take them over here to the Prairie Star Milling. From there, it will be unloaded from here. An underground chute carries the product over to the factory. It will get milled down into flour, loaded to the boxcars, taken back to the yard to be put on a different train again, and then it will go over to like the Magic Pan bakeries where the flour will be used to make pastries. Um, so yeah, I tried to tie things together so that it would simulate some very similar railroad operations. Um, is basically some of the things that I did. Multiple things are tied like that. Clearly not everything is tied together, but what I can do is I can take a manifest, put it over here on this back rail, and that can be taken out off somewhere to be completely rearranged and changed if I want, and then brought back. And that makes it nice because, you know, everything gets a chance to move. Everything seems to have its place, which was very, very important. Something I really enjoyed creating. Uh, Basically, I live in Missouri. Uh, I like the limestone rock cliffs that you see down around like the Herman and Washington area, going from like St. Louis to Kansas City. So I wanted to incorporate that type of rock, that type of landscape, where you have like the little foothills and the little cliffs and stuff like that. Um, it took me about a year and a half roughly to get to this point where it looks the way it does now. I still have a few things that I would like to do, just because I've not done them before and the practice would be fantastic. I would love to just gain the experience. An example is I don't have grade crossings in as far as like the signal crossings. I would love to add some of those. I do have them. They are bought. They are purchased. They are sitting just waiting on me to get off my lazy butt and do it. Period. Um, I am very happy with what I've got to date. The detail was fun. Just using my creativity to put things together so that it looked, realistic. Obviously, there's certainly some weathering on some things that I could do, like the cars and the little steel coils. I could put a little weathering on them, just to kind of dirty them up a little bit, like the real world. But yeah, it's nice. Like I can run my train at a slow speed like this and not have to worry about things, as far as stopping because of the track conditions, stuff like that. Um, but it takes maintenance. You have to maintain this stuff. Uh, but it's enjoyable. It's fun. It's what I do. It's definitely what I do. Man, it feels good to be back on here again. Pretty stoked about that. Let's turn the speed up just a few notches here. There we go. Now we're cooking. Yeah, I see a little binky. I'm gonna have to clean that section real quick. For sure. I have to apologize for the sky background. It was an experiment done the correct way. that actually would have worked really well. It was paper, it was cheap, and I put that on after the layout was built. If I would have done this pre-layout, threw some tape on the back in some places, it wouldn't have the wrinkles in it, for one thing, and it would have been super inexpensive and looked fantastic. Unfortunately, I did it backwards. That's my fault. I'll take the blame for that. But definitely potential. It was, I don't even remember what shop I got it from. Some shop in St. Louis. I was like, man, this will work great. Yeah, almost did. It was close, for sure, for sure. So I don't know. I'm sure I'll redo that at some point in time. Clean it up, make it better. But just like I said, just weathering. I got several more cars I really need to get some weathering done. Graffiti. I do have more of that to put on. But yeah, just it's been a lot of fun over the years. I used to belong to a railroad club. Uh, Learned so much from that. Fantastic people, and it was really nice to gain knowledge. There's a sawmill. It was nice to be able to take my craft and my home, all my technique, make it make it better. So yeah, I was cleaning the track and look, didn't put my stuff back. That's alright. It's a quick fix. So I do have a Coca-Cola plant, and that's because I worked for them for 19 years. Um, it was an interesting career. I did enjoy it. It was nice doing the job. Did quality control. It was pretty great while it lasted. But got to a point where I had to move on. I had to go do something else. So that's all good. But I still wanted to incorporate it regardless. I have a military convoy that I recently got my hands on. Um, Thanks to a fantastic lady whose husband used to belong to the train club. Uh, and it was a great opportunity to get a hold of those pieces. And I appreciate that. Thank you. Really added a nice touch. You can see I got the little town, all the little people. It's hustling, it's bustling, people that got stuff to do, they're having a good time. Shopping, hanging out, chit-chatting, selling some stuff. Pretty sweet. You got the people at the park playing checkers, chess, I think it's checkers. You got those ladies that are going for a little picnic, probably on lunch break. I like this because it's a nice little museum piece. Like the company donated that to the township. It's right there at that little roadside park. So yeah, it's the detail. Love the detail. There's certainly more I'd like to do and can do, uh, and probably will do. You see the guy here at the sawmill. They had a broken part, broken gear. Gotta weld that back together. Get that fixed. You can't have the sawmill down. All the clutter. Love the clutter. Clutter really adds a lot. It really does. Just junk it up. Next thing you know, boom. It looks really cool. I have another engine that I have got to get moved. It's got another place it's got to go. Let's see if we can do this. I do run DCC. I do run Digitrax. I actually like Digitrax. It's basically what I got started on when I was in the train club. And so it's kind of what I know. For me, personally, I enjoy the convenience of it. You know, I've had the time to study it, understand it, work with it, and so it works well for me. I know a lot of people use some of the other brands, and that's awesome too, because as long as you understand your DCC system, it's nice. It's really nice because the control, man, I love being able to set the settings on the CVs. I love to be able to have them creep when they start. And I like the momentum. A lot of people don't like the momentum, but again, I don't run my train super fast. And so it makes it very convenient. Because it really adds a lot of realism to it to me. You watch the locomotives out there, and you got some guys that's pretty heavy on the throttle, absolutely. But even so, these things ain't speed demons, by no means, for sure. So the switch, I have 42 switches on this lower level. I have a 2% grade, which goes from the lower level to the upper level. I do run Atlas track, but I do have Pico switches. First time I've ever used Pico switches, when I was in the railroad club, Atlas switches was what we used. As they work, you know, they're not bad, but I did find Atlas switches to kind of make the engines, you had to be careful with the Atlas, because you could get an engine to stop, and I didn't want that. I wanted something of a little better quality, more DCC friendly, I guess would be the term I'm looking for. So yeah, I have this engine I've got to get moved. So I am going to take this particular engine up the 2% grade. But yeah, me personally, just my own personal opinion, I really like the Pico switches. They've been really smooth. I haven't had any issues. I know with the Atlas switches, I have actually had to buy what's called a frog juicer, and put those on those Atlas switches. Did that for a friend, and once we did that process, they were smooth as silk. But if I buy a switch, I want it to work. Like, boom. If I pay for it, I install it, I don't want to have to monkey with it. These two engines are GP38-2s. They are, shoot, I just drew a blank. They are Atherns. They are the Genesis. They do have the sound in them. I personally prefer the sound, for sure. it really adds a whole nother dimension uh, when you have the sound. I actually took all the other engines off the track over there by the shop, the workshop, because the last live that I did on my Facebook page, it was so loud you couldn't even hardly hear me. And I have the CV, sound CV adjusted uh, down on all of those so that they don't just like give you a headache after a couple hours of being down here, which is nice. Uh, because it has a nice sound. You can hear the sound. You're in a small area in the basement, which is really cool. Um, yeah, this is, like I said, this is what I do. Like your creativity is your only limitation in this hobby. Period. Flat out. If you can think it, you can figure out a way to put it together. Just no, that's just hands down. I mean, I got a cop scene where they've pulled over the bad guys and they started running them down. I don't know how well you can see that, but yeah. Like there's the officer, he's patting that guy down. So then the other guy, he is being chased by two guys, two officers, and a dog unit. And he's still on the run, heading towards the little old cabin. Let's see how far he gets with that dog once that dog gets loose. But yeah, just your imagination, your creativity. This is what makes it fun. This is what makes the hobby great. I got a missing light I've got to replace. That reminds me. That's why this section's a hair dark. But I'll get that light replaced. That just reminded me. Um, so yeah, as I said, I worked for Coca-Cola for a long time. And, really, that doesn't make me happy. And so Coca-Cola had an off-site warehouse where they could take their product for storage and shipment. So the Coca-Cola plant has an off-site warehouse here too. And that way I get to bring boxcars loaded with product. Let me go shut that engine off. And turn that off. Oops, not that one. This one. Got it. Let's speed that up just a little bit. I need to put a skirting on. Buy a little material and some Velcro. But yeah, you just see the weeds. Put the weeds in at the ends, just to kind of make the bumper look like it's been there a while. It just wasn't put here yesterday. You know, it just, some of the stuff that they do in modeling world is so compressed. And you take a look at the paper mill. I toured a paper mill once. That thing was huge. It was up at the Canadian border. Like literally, uh, you go across the border through all the checkpoint, and boom, there was the paper mill just on the other side. We took a tour. That was fascinating, but again, just so compressed. If I had the room, I would make some things that would really be an operator's love or nightmare, whichever you want to call it. But yeah, there would be lots to do, lots of neat operations. I have been in this since I was 5. I am now 49. Just don't tell nobody. But yeah, it's I've been doing this a long time. I stepped out of it in my early 20s, got into other stuff, but then I got back into it. When I did, I hit it hard, and the payoff has been fantastic. I mean, I get to come down here, run the little layout that I got, and just enjoy what I did. Again, details. Look, you got a deer surrounded by wolves. Probably not going to be his best day. The picnic table. You got people out on break. You got the mountain lion. Thinks he's going to test the bears. Yeah, that's probably not going to be his best move either. The kids, the kids like the bear scene. I think that's pretty cool. That creativity. You got the stand for the watchtower. That thing really looked pathetic when I got it. It was plain. I weathered the boots off of it, glued a few things back together so it wasn't so shaky. And yeah, it turned out pretty nice. So, one of my favorite movies, if you know anything about the rubber duck, then you know something about the movie called Convoy. And so whenever that got released, yeah, I couldn't resist. Hopefully they come out with the tanker trailer soon. I know they've been talking about it, but we'll see. My bridge turned out well. I gotta figure out how to get some center rail on the inside of that. Other than that, it's basically what I want. You got people that are camping, having a good time, chilling. Moose, they're like, yeah, it's time to go. Some people hiking, gotta go up the hill, check out the woods, the forestry. Who knows? Maybe they're doing bird watching. I don't know. Love the fact that everything is just so fully functional in this hobby. And then when you add the sound with the engines, it's great. The technology has really carried this hobby big time. The advancements in the technology is just, I love it. I hope they continue with some of that. So basically on my layout, Union Pacific, I need to write a story, I guess. Union Pacific never purchased the Chicago and Northwestern, so it is still a live railroad with current operations. On this particular layout, even bought the Fantasy Scheme SD80s that came out. An old yard switcher which they do use. The good old classic SD40-2s. The yard was interesting because when I originally put it together, before I had all the scenery down, the spacing was so far apart that it wouldn't hold very much. So I went back and purchased 3-ways. Man, you would talk about space savers. That opened up a lot more room to hold more stuff. So I got one for each side. Really filled in a lot of stuff. Allowed me to put more tracks in and have the space I needed for holding all the cars, which was nice. A little lettering. Got a little graffiti on there. A little Rio Grande's been around the block, huh? Those are my plastics cars, a few of them. What's really cool is sometimes a little space can really make a difference. I mean, you can take cars, set them to the side on a little siding like this, and you know, the businesses on the side. Same way with the plastic cars. Like we have a place in Wentzville where there's a siding and they have a strip of pipe that they hook up to those rail cars for the little plastic pellets for moving those around by truck. That's basically what this right here represents. So there's no building, but yeah, it's like an industry. Switch point allows you to move your freight around and have another commodity to ship. I remember as a kid running the trains around the track, and that was it. Just you run them in a circle. I had a little yard, but I literally used it just for storage, not for like switching operations. Now that I'm older, I mean, I don't mind running them in a circle every once in a while, but I like the operations part. I like being able to move the stuff around. So that's pretty sweet. And then having like the creativity to link it up, put it together, really is the world's best hobby, for real. I'd be interested in playing this back when I'm done to see how the sound is. Seeing if you can even hear the engines. Thank you for the like, I appreciate that. again, if you know anything about old school trucker movies and shows, you'll know that that is the BJ McKay and the Bear truck from the television show back in the day. Yeah, that come out kind of like the rubber duck truck I got over there. I was like, yeah, I gotta have that, and I did. It's a nice little touch. I like that. I apologize if this is a little shaky. I'm just kind of holding my phone at the moment. I have a feeling soon I'm going to get an opportunity to purchase something that, I don't know. I think I might purchase some cameras, maybe, and a computer just dedicated to this. Uh, that's certainly something that is heavily in my mind about what I want to do with this channel, because it's got some cool stuff on it, I think. You know, I've had plenty of people like the channel, even with just the little bit that I have on there, because I feel like it's pretty pretty thin on content for the most part. But I feel like I have a pretty quality layout overall and in general. I like the little pylons, the little yellow pylons. Those turned out nice. Just a nice accent to it all. And again, creativity. I took railroad ties, laid them out, put bushes in there. I got a bush that's moved. I have to put that back in place. But yeah, you take your bushes, which is just a little piece of foam, and you set, there we go. You set them in there. It looks like bushes. So it just looks like landscaping. And you got your sidewalk that goes to the doors. Literally all I did was just paint the sidewalk on the foam. Just painted it on there. And it turned out, I think, pretty decent. This is the maintenance train. Uh, this is where the track cleaners are, underneath those box cars. I'll run that around. This is actually a Cato SD40-2, and I'll tell you what, that thing does a fantastic job of pulling that train. They got good quality parts in that particular engine. It is a Paragon 2 series, actually. It was an older unit. They haven't made Paragon 2 for a while. Older unit, and it had just been stored away, so it was still new, still in a package. Somebody was selling it. I'm like, yeah, I'll take that. And that's worked out perfect for pulling that particular train, because those pads underneath, they certainly add plenty of friction and weight to the back. So you gotta have a good engine to pull that. Otherwise you'll hear the grinding of the wheels, and that's just not what you want. You want something that's gonna pull it properly. I'm sure I will do another live very soon. I want to thank everybody for watching. I appreciate that. Appreciate the like again. Thank you. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're interested. I appreciate that too. So thank you, and I will catch everybody on the flip side. Happy railroading.